Big meeting today over at the White House. The president meeting with members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Let's discuss in our strategy session. Joining us now, our CNN political analyst, the Democratic strategist, Donna Brazile, and the Republican strategist, John Feehery. He's also a former spokesman for the then House Speaker, Dennis Hastert. Guys, thanks very much for coming in. This article in the Politico, I don't know if you saw it, but it was pretty tough. Let me read a paragraph from it. House Judiciary Committee Chairman John Conyers told Politico that White House officials are, quote, not listening to black lawmakers. Rep. Alcee Hastings said there's not enough attention to poor people. Rep. Jesse Jackson Jr. said, while I respect President Obama, delivering victories for his political future should be the least of our worries on Capitol Hill. Now, the members of the Congressional Black Caucus, they went over to the White House today. Barbara Lee came out, the congresswoman, and she said this after the meeting.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus. You're hearing grumblings. I don't know where you're hearing grumblings from, but we're talking as a Black Caucus today. You see us all here. The majority of caucus members are here.
All right. Well, I heard some grumblings by quoting by name these members of the Congressional Black Caucus. So how big of a problem is this for the president?
First of all, I understand that they had a very frank, a very constructive conversation with the president. The focus of the meeting, of course, was to discuss jobs and the fact that there are so many more African Americans who are unemployed, so many people of color, and that the Black Caucus went today to stress the importance of having targeted programs to address those critical communities that need resources right now. They also talked about DBEs, the Disadvantaged Business Program, and they asked the administration to continue to follow the initiatives to ensure that the money is being targeted to those communities in need. So I heard that it could have been a rowdy meeting, but it was a very constructive conversation.
I do hear it in between those words, some grumblings going on from members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
If I were a member of the CBC, and obviously I'm not, I'd be furious with the president because he has not really stood up. He's done the bully pulpit, talked about these issues. 50% unemployment rate in Detroit, 35% unemployment rate in D.C. In the African American community, it's really well beyond a depression. The president needs to start talking about this stuff, and I think he's shying away from it. I don't know what kind of politics he's playing, but he's got to show he's fixing some problems, and he's not really talking about it at all. Like I said, if I were a member of the CBC, I'd be angry.
Yeah.
As you know, action speaks louder than words. And the Black Caucus, I mean, Barack Obama, as a senator, was a member of the Black Caucus. There's no question that he's president of the United States. He's not president of Black America. But what the Black Caucus is urging the president and the administration, the same thing they did with George Bush and Bill Clinton, I can go on and on, they would like to make sure that this president focus on those critical areas that can bring jobs, apprenticeship programs, and youth training programs back to these urban areas where people are hurting.
Do you sense that they really want to get over this health care issue so the president can start focusing in on jobs? Is that what you're hearing?
Well, health care is very critical, but as you well know, 85% of the people with health insurance have employer base. When you don't have a job, you don't have health insurance. So it's jobs, jobs, jobs.
The longer this health care hangs over the White House, the less likely he's going to be able to deal with these other issues.
The only issue that matters for most Americans who are out of work is jobs. Right. Donna's absolutely right. The president's priorities are a little bit mixed up right now. The first thing should have been jobs. We've been saying that all along. Jobs, jobs, jobs. He's not been talking about it. He's been really fixated on this health care thing, which I'm not sure is going to really help create jobs. Some people say it is. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be bad for jobs, and I think that is the priority problem for the president.
But black people also need health care. White people, Latino, we all need health care. So it's not either or, but you need a job so you can afford to pay your premium. It's a priority, and we believe that the priority is
43 members of the Congressional Black Caucus. How many will vote against the Democrats' health care bill?
Well, I know there are lobbying people who voted against. Look, I think the Speaker has her hands full, and I think Arturo Davis from Alabama, that's a vote that she has to be concerned about. I'm concerned about that vote down in Louisiana. We had a Republican member who represented a really strong minority district, and yet he's now talking about voting against the bill. So, yeah, there's no question, one or two Black Caucus members.
Just one or two?
At the end of the day, I hope it's only one, but it might be one or two.
Because even the real liberal ones, they're going to hold their nose and vote for it, even though it doesn't have a public option?
Well, you know, I don't want to preempt Jim Clyburn. He is the whip. He has a bigger, strap than I do. But I think the Speaker will get the votes because she has Jim Clyburn, Sidney Hoyers, and many others whipping for those votes.
You think they have 216 votes in the House? You used to count votes in the House?
No, not yet. I think that they're a real problem. I think the big problem you have is between the House and the Senate. It's of trust. I don't think the Senate's going to even pick up reconciliation. I think that's going to make a lot of House members very nervous. I worked in the House for many years. years. I've seen how these jam jobs go, how the Senate jams the House. And you know what? There's a parliamentarian just ordered that rule that if there is a bill that comes out of the House, that has to be signed by the president before a reconciliation sidecar can be taken up. That's a huge problem for House Democrats.
An important point, because I've been hearing this from a lot of Democrats in the House. They don't trust the Senate, their colleagues, the Democrats, by any means. So this is a problem.
This bill has been dead before. It's going to come back. Trust me.
Well, I'm not saying it's dead.
Maybe
It's
next
a
year.
problem. Guys, thanks very much. Jack